Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to move second reading of Bill 5, the Public Sector Compensation Transparency Act. This bill follows through on our promise to increase transparency in our public sector, Madam Speaker. If passed, the bill would significantly expand disclosure of public sector compensation. Disclosure will include employees of public sector bodies governed by the Alberta Public Agencies Governance Act, including AHS. Disclosure will also apply to employees of Covenant Health, and the legislation can be expanded by regulation to include other entities that receive significant public funds. These bodies will have to disclose the names and compensation of all employees who earn more than $125,000 in total compensation, including overtime, severance, and bonuses. By including bonuses and other forms of remuneration, we will ensure that compensation cannot be withheld from disclosure. In addition, these bodies will be required to disclose all remuneration for all members of their boards and other governing bodies. These positions have sometimes been criticized as patronage appointments. So this government, in addition to reviewing ABCs and appointments, will ensure that compensation for these positions is publicly available. Disclosure for Government of Alberta employees will stay the same, but the bill will move the rules from the existing Treasury Board directive into an act. The threshold for these employees will remain at the current level of $104,754, excluding overtime. Madam Speaker, the Act will also enable regulations to require disclosure of physician compensation. Because physicians and other medical professionals are compensated through a variety of funding mechanisms, unique rules need to be applied. Details will be developed after consultation with physicians and laid out in regulations. For municipalities and school boards, we are providing some flexibility. These two groups are accountable to their electorate and will be able to decide for themselves what best fits the public interest in their community. This Act enables, but does not require, disclosure of names and compensation paid to employees, including teachers. To be clear, this Act does not mandate the disclosure of a single teacher salary. The threshold for public sector bodies and other entities is set at $125,000. Madam Speaker, the number was chosen in order to capture high-income earners. This will also reduce the administrative burden on various groups in that they will not need to extract the overtime hours from the threshold calculation. All thresholds for compensation disclosure will be adjusted annually for inflation. If passed, this Act would come into force on royal assent, and the first disclosure under the Act would be on June 30th, 2016. Overall, this bill will help Albertans understand how public funds are used by agencies, boards, commissions, and other bodies. The government has committed to ensuring that Albertans know how public money is spent, and this is another step on this path. Thank you. Madam Speaker, I'd now like to move to adjourn debate.